Okay, so we're here with a second Women's Infinite Serve interview.
Yes.
And today we have Marla on. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah,
It's
we
an
are.
honor.
We are super excited. This weekend is the Kappa event,
Yes.
and it's go time.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, and right after this, you are also actually. I'm just gonna hold the phone because I could just dive right in because I'm so anxious to talk to you.
Go, girl.
Okay, so Infinite Serve, we are local to Colorado, and we are the mastermind with the Final Percent.
Yes.
We are committed to serving the community and serving people. We're doing it in all kinds of ways. The food bank, we're serving the youth of Colorado. We're serving people who are in the sex trade, coming out of the sex trade, and facilitating safety and rehabilitation. So there's just a ton of ways, and we're just getting started.
Amazing.
So
It's just the beginning.
Yeah, literally. And so it's great to have you on. And
Thank you.
I want to ask you a few questions,
Sure.
but I'd like to have you introduce yourself.
Sure.
And kind of who you are, what you do,
Yeah.
and what you're about. And
Sure.
then I'll dive into some questions.
Great. My name's Marla Coffin. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I live in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Born and raised there. My husband and I have a number of different businesses that we oversee, although we don't work in the day-to-day operations of those businesses. What we do spend most of our time on is our business called The Growth Arena. It is a leadership and growth company. And we work with other business owners and individuals who are looking to strengthen their leadership skills and put themselves in a place where their business can scale. So that's where we spend most of our time now.
So essentially, like business coaching.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, business coaching, change management, one-on-one stuff, all that kind of thing.
Okay, and then you're also in the real estate space.
Yep.
And property management.
Yeah, so our core company is Marta Management. It's a rental management business that we started 15 years ago. That is our core business, still is, but it is operated by our managing partner who runs it for us. And she takes care of all the day-to-day operations and oversees. We have close to 40 staff there in that business and a couple thousand doors that we manage. And it's become an income-producing asset for me and my husband instead of a day-to-day job.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very proud of that.
Yeah. How long did that take for you to build up?
Many, many years.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of years not understanding or not having a level of awareness that getting out of the grind was an option. You know, we spent a lot of 6, 7 days a week, 10 and 12 hours a day for a lot of years. What I call running on the hamster wheel to a degree. And that was just our reality. And by the way, we loved it. You know, I woke up thinking about Marta, we went to bed thinking about Marta, and we were doing it together. And that, you know, made a huge difference to our day to day. And in turn, that also caused us to always be thinking and talking about it, whether we were at home or at work. And you know, we really enjoyed it. But when you're in the grind and you're in what I call the weeds, you're in the day-to-day operations, the challenge that presents itself is you start to confuse problems that are small with problems that are big. It all becomes one pile. So you end up just trying to get through to the next thing. And it's sometimes it's tough to differentiate between the stuff that doesn't really need your attention and what is your highest and best use. So we found that to be a little bit of a struggle in the later years. And then someone said to us, like, why don't you step back from the business? Which at the time was almost funny for us. We were like, no, this is it. And we love it, by the way. And this is what we're going to do and meant to do. But then we realized maybe this is really an option. So what we did initially is we did it as a trial. We stepped out of the day-to-day business for 1 month. Now, obviously, we still had responsibilities in the business, but we didn't go to the office. We weren't available for the constant door knocks, do you have a minute, right? We backed our way out of the majority of the tasks, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to start to understand what are the holes, what are the gaps, what have we not delegated appropriately, where do we have to cross-train, stuff like that. So we did it for a month. That was in June of 2023. And by the time that month was over, I just said, I'm not going back ever to that. I'm not going back to the hamster wheel. I'm not going back to the grind. This is truly the good life, this time flexibility or time freedom that people talk about that I didn't know was actually a thing, or at least not actually an option for me or for my husband, Dale. And we never went back.
Wow.
There was some pain, there was some adjustments, there was some tweaking for sure, but we never went back. And now it is just an income producing asset for us.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Being with the Infinite Serve, the question that I want to ask you, and there's so many aspects of you, and I haven't even had a chance to spend much time with you, but
okay.
just seeing you interfacing with Greg and on the calls and on the socials, and I feel like I know you. So
I appreciate that.
there's what I think would be how you serve big, but the question for Infinite Serve is, how are you serving big, specifically in the infinity model? Which pillar? The personal space, the professional vitality, or in the community? And we can argue that I can argue that you're hitting all four of those right out of the gate.
Okay.
You're a wife, you're a kick-ass entrepreneur. I love the way that you said a serial entrepreneur. And you're a mother of three little girls.
Yeah, 3 girls. Yeah.
2 twins that are
twins that are just, they're 13 months, so just over a year. And I have a 5-year-old. Thank you. Thank you. All 3 of my girls are a big part of my life for sure.
They're absolutely precious.
Thank you.
And how long have you been married?
So my husband and I have been married for 14 years. We've been together a little bit longer. We started our business actually before we got married, and then things just snowballed.
Yeah. Awesome. So how would you answer that question of in what way are you serving big?
There's no question that, there's a variety of angles to take there, but to me, beyond what goes well beyond any angle is there's undoubtedly the personal pillar is where I serve big, or perhaps I might venture into saying biggest right now.
Okay.
Now, there are different times in your life where you move throughout that model, in my opinion, and where you can serve big in different pillars. I personally believe that the personal pillar serves the professional pillar. I widely think that. And, I believe that the way that I choose to be an evolving leader, I say evolving because I'm learning and growing every day too, but the way I choose to lead in my professional life, which in turn supports my professional life, I think is probably the most significant way that I'm serving right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And especially how just recently Greg said we're not really ever in
right. We're not in professional, right? It is a byproduct, and that makes sense to me. That definitely rings true for me. There's goals that I have in other parts of my life to probably serve big or bigger than I am now in community. My husband Dale and I have a personal goal of being able to give more than we receive, and that's hard to do tangibly, but we're building toward that, and we believe that one day we will be there, and that to me will probably culminate in the community pillar.
Wow, that's a big goal.
Yeah, it's got to be a big goal.
It does. Being in the final percent. So I've been in it was January of last year, and it's just life-changing is like not enough of a description.
Yeah, it's a wonderful community. It's a wild ride. There's things that are being brought to the attention, to people's attention, to their awareness level that they just didn't know was out there. And to me, that's what is so incredibly valuable about these groups. We can be having a conversation about something that I didn't even know was a thing. Right? And once I do, what I can do with that in my own life can be so powerful. And that's what goes back to the example I gave you of someone saying, hey, why don't you just step back from the business? And I was like, like that was never in the realm of contemplation to any degree. So bringing things and heightening the awareness level for people is huge.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that because I'm imagining that was pretty uncomfortable and very somewhat even scary to relinquish that control and to see things actually kind of crumble a little bit, to find out where the gaps are. And so when you stepped back, did it give the staff in place, did it give them an opportunity to rise up, or did it give you guys an opportunity to see where the gaps are to then go back in and empower them, or both?
A little bit of both for sure. There's no question you're kind of exposing yourself when you do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're exposing the faults, you're exposing the gaps, you're exposing the areas that maybe you thought you were stronger than you are, and now you're really going to find out. So you have to be prepared to be vulnerable there for sure. But we understood that doing that was the only path. Um, if we didn't do that, then these things, it would literally just be marbles dropping, right? Balls dropping all over the place. So, we also had a team that was very supportive and understood that things will get exposed because that's not comfortable for anybody, right? It's not like, I had to be vulnerable and that was the end of it. It was the team had to be vulnerable. The team had to be prepared to hear feedback about things that we needed as a team to work further on. And so, going through that, frankly, brought us closer, in my opinion, as a team. There was some adjusting and shifting to be done because there was a different person that you would go to for everything you needed than you used to. That used to be me. It's not me anymore. And I had to grapple with that too. I'm very much have a personality of independence. I am someone who will take initiative quickly. I am someone who wants to speak up with my ideas or intentions. So to hold back on that regularly has definitely been a new muscle for me to work. And I'm still strengthening that skill, quite frankly. There are times when we have leaders in all of our businesses. We don't run any of them personally right now. When someone is leading a business and says, this is what I want to do, I have to self-reflect if it's not the way I would do it, or it's not the choice I would make, to ask myself, is it that consequential if it's done this way? Because the problem is if you nitpick at every single way that someone else chooses to do something, they're not me. They're not going to always do it my way. And you have to ask yourself, right? Is this worthy of being intervened and saying, this is not the way to do it? Maybe, sometimes, but a lot of times, no, it's just not your path. It's just not your way to do it. But we can both arrive at the same goal by taking different paths. So I've really had to acclimate to that and to begin getting comfortable with that, which I think I've done, but I have more work to do for sure.
So is that where you feel like going back to the service of personal growth for you, you're allowing yourself to relinquish some of the control?
No question.
And all of that.
No question, for
sense.
sure. And it's not complete. It's a work in progress. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It's always a fine balance between, some stuff's easy. Some stuff's like, just back off, it's fine. It's not that consequential either way. But other stuff that I'll call in the middle isn't obviously critical, but isn't obviously no big deal. And then I struggle, and it's like, if I interject on this, or I give my feedback on this, or I provide direction on this, am I being too overbearing, or is ignoring it lacking support? So it's a bit of a juggle for sure.
So you also mentioned in the very beginning that when you're in the day-to-day, you mistake the small things for big things and the big things for the small things.
It just all becomes one pile. So
right.
It's just like whatever's next. You're just trying to get through.
You're putting
more
out fires, and there's
all
just
the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I am curious what that looks like, in the sense of how, and because I can understand that conceptually, but the piece of being able to separate yourself, was that an internal discipline? Like you referred to it being a muscle, and like all muscles, if you don't use it, you lose it. They begin to atrophy and deteriorate. So with that piece, like, would you describe that as self-discipline that you
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. But I also removed myself from the environment, making it significantly easier. So if I'm there every day, and I actually have to tell every person that comes to my office door that I'm not the right person anymore, over and over and over and over and over again, until their behaviors retrained, that's going to be very difficult, because it's going to put me in the crosshairs every single time. However, by removing myself from that environment, I've eliminated 99% of that. Sure, if someone calls or emails me or sends me a message, I've definitely had to redirect some, for sure, especially as people acclimated to the new system, the new model, the new leadership, etc. But by removing myself from that environment, I made it a lot easier than it otherwise would have been. Excuse me, sorry.
One of the things that you also mentioned I wanted to go back to was time currency. And that
sorry.
do you need some water?
I'm
okay. The way Sharon Lechter describes time as a currency, I can't get out of my head. And she's just an epic legend of a woman on so many levels. But how long ago did you say you and Dale really started to embrace that concept?
Sorry, my apologies. Excuse me. Well, we really started investing in ourselves when it comes to personal growth, increasing our awareness in about 2021. Before that, we were just going to town. We were just doing it the way we thought was best. Sometimes we were right. Sometimes we were wrong. Sometimes, we had to course correct for sure. But in 2021, we ended up in a group that really started heightening our awareness to some of these things, to the fact that we could have time freedom, to the fact that every minute that I spend on X, I'm not spending on Y. What is my highest and best use as a person based on my talents, my experience, etc. So I would say prior to that, I was pretty oblivious. Since then, and it took from, I would say, 2021 to 2023, a couple of years to really sink in the concept that it was an option that I wouldn't have to grind it out forever. I never imagined I wouldn't be a technician. I never imagined that I wouldn't be the primary person. And frankly, that's an emotional roller coaster too, by the way. It's kind of your baby that you're fostering as you grow a business. So, it takes a certain point before you realize, and I think that's why that month was so pivotal for us of being away from the day-to-day, because it was like it gave us a taste. So that was an opportunity for us to start to glimpse into, wow, we can have control of our day, control of our schedule. We can make choices about what we spend our time on. Wow, this is a whole new world.
Yeah. So after that month, did you go back?
No. I never went back. Dale went back for about 6 months. He largely runs the accounting end of our businesses. So he went back for about 6 months to restructure our accounting departments and do some cross training and get some of the team up to speed on some of the software capabilities that we were using. I never went back. I was very fortunate. I had someone that worked with our firm since 2018. So after 5 years of being in the business and industry experience, she had already shown herself as a leader. She was our director of operations at the time. It was a clear choice to elevate her. That was still certainly an adjustment for her and for us. But I did have a course that I could take, a path that I could follow, if you will. So I did not go back after that month.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can only imagine what that emotional roller coaster felt like.
It was an experience for sure. Quite an experience, but doing it has changed my life. It has brought me from a place of just grinding as an entrepreneur every day for the next dollar, if you will, to strategic business ownership and serial entrepreneurship.
And a goal like giving more than that's huge. What is do you guys have like a specific area, or do you kind of give to multiple causes?
I have a lot of causes that we like to give to. Around Mother's Day, I started it last year, I'm going to do it again this year. I do a thing on social media saying, hey, if you're a single mom and you have bills that you're struggling with, send me a DM. And then I end up picking whatever the amount might be and being able to pay those bills for those single moms around Mother's Day. So it's just a small thing. It's not formalized. It's not an organization. It's not a specific. It's just like, hey, if you're struggling, I get it. Let me help you.
Wow.
Because I want to. Again, that's a small thing though. It can be anything. Our organization, our core business, MARTA, has something that it does called the MARTA Angel Network. And what we did was I think the 2020 was the first year we did it. we created the Marta Angel Network where we asked our property owners, which is our customers, to donate to our angel network instead of sending things to our team. So around the holidays, we would often get gift baskets and fruit baskets and flowers and poinsettias and all these things, and they were wonderful, and we were, very grateful. But we said, you know what, I think this can be better spent. I think this can be better directed. So we asked our clients, hey, thank you, but instead of doing that, will you contribute to the Marta Angel Network? And then we used those funds to support our tenants. So tenants that are struggling either to pay their rent or to put food on the table or to put gifts around their tree for their kids or whatever the case may be, our staff team could actually nominate tenants that they were aware of or familiar with that might have needed additional support. We had a tenant who had a fire, just for example. Terrible accident. Everyone was safe, thankfully, but they didn't have anything. So we were able to use funds from the Angel Network to get them set up in a new home, get them the basics that they and their kids needed. One year we put, gifts around a Christmas tree for a family,
Wow.
whatever the case may be, based on what the need is. And we just felt that was going to be go so much further than a gift basket or a fruit basket or whatever for our team to enjoy, because our team also got the amazing feeling associated with making that happen. And that was so rewarding and is so rewarding for them. So we've done it every year since. Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. And I think that is another level of service within your company, who you're able to serve your customers, you're able to serve the people,
help the people who need it most. That's our goal.
Yeah. And to see you doing that in your company is inspiring.
Thanks.
And something as simple as, if you're struggling, send me a DM, like that random act of kindness to support somebody in need without you have to apply for this, you have to check this box, and I'm going to do this double check to make sure that you're actually telling the truth, whereas it's just, I'm just going to take you at your word.
Help, I'm good with it. Yeah. Honestly, I just find it's a different kind of giving. And it, that's not exclusively what we do. We do a lot of formalized charity work too, but it's different. It's very grassroots to just say, hey, you need help, I'm here. And I hope if I need help, you'll be there. And I'm confident you will be.
Yeah, I imagine that you're building a pretty significant network of people in your arena in Canada. Where was it in Canada? Ontario?
We're in Windsor, across from Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
right across from Detroit. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you're good.
So I'm imagining you're building quite a solid network of humans.
It's all about people collecting, and that's what Greg, told me very early on, and that's really what I'm striving to do is let's keep the good ones and do what we can to serve them and work with them and grow with them too, because I'm growing too every day. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think of what else. We have a few minutes left.
Sure.
I do want to ask you, because you are a serial entrepreneur, you're a mother of 3, and you're married for 14 years plus.
Yep.
How do you manage all of the things? Because I know I see your strength in business and as a leader and an entrepreneur, like that is just apparent. But your love for your daughters and your husband is also apparent.
Thank you.
And it's hard because, and I was talking with somebody else about this, but I'm just going to use Instagram and social media and Hollywood because it's all a highlight reel anyway. But you fall into that comparative reality where they have everything. They've got the house, they've got the cars, they've got the body, they've got the kids, they've got the perfect marriage, they've got the perfect job, and somehow they have time to go to every beach. Like it's
like what?
and it's not real. It's a highlight reel. So you don't see behind the scenes, but in behind the scenes, I'm curious how you.
I'll tell you something that I use that has become incredibly helpful to me, because you are literally juggling all the balls, right? You're literally juggling all the time. And I empower other women and men to use this too. I think about which balls are glass, because those are the ones I just can't drop.
That gave me chills.
right?
That was good.
Because there's a lot of balls. Something's going to give, right?
Yeah.
So if I think about in my life, and it might be different than your life or the next person's life, what balls are glass? Those are the ones you just can't afford to drop. So my girls, those are glass balls. Those are not ones that I'm willing or prepared to let go of. That's a non-negotiable for me. It's important to them. It's important to me.
Mm.
And then there are things in business that are glass balls too. Please don't make any mistake. I don't want to suggest like, oh, you know, family's first and everything else doesn't matter, because there's many, many things that have to be glass balls. But there's a lot of things that don't need to be glass balls. And sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to let those balls that aren't glass drop, because they're not going to break. They're not going to break.
Oh, that's good.
You can't keep it all in the air. It's not a feasible endeavor for you or for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can learn to prioritize in our own daily life, I really feel like that helps us segment where our attention goes. Where does our energy go? What has to be, something has to be first, something has to be last. That's just how it is. So if we can start to distinguish the things that are glass and they then come first, if something that's last drops and it's not a glass ball anyway, we'll get through it. Yeah, let her bounce. We'll get through it.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's done a lot for me.
I'm gonna utilize that, because I think, again, ending where you started, with mixing the small things for the big things and the big things for the small. Everything's not a fire.
Yeah, no, and it can't all just be one pile.
Yeah.
Because when it is, you don't know what to prioritize,
Mm-hmm.
and then we end up prioritizing the things that'll bounce anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This was
my pleasure. Thank
phenomenal.
you. Thank you for having me. What a wonderful setup you guys here have. I'm so excited for what Infinite Serve is doing, and I'm so grateful for being here. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to go to the Kappa. This is such
It's gonna
an
be good.
awesome way to kick
great.
it off.
Right? Yes. Let's do this.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good, eh?
Yeah.
It's good. Let me put my socks back on. It was great. Sorry for my coughing. I was like, oh my God.
Okay.
I'm thinking in my head, like, please. You know, when you like get something and you're like, please stop.
Yeah, I was about
I'm
to get you some water.
That's okay. Totally fine. No, I was good. Thank you so much. This was great. Honestly, when I saw your face, when I said glass balls, I got goosebumps.
Really?
And then I was like, oh my God, don't cry. I was just like, whoa. It just hit me because I could tell it hit you, you know?
Yeah.
But
a lot of what you said has hit me, because the client that I just started coaching is going through what you just said, and she's
so tough, right?
It's so sad. And so, you know, and I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah,
let's change it.
Yeah, we got to do something, right?
So, this was really good. And then I told Bernard, I was like, I'm just going after the whole, like, how the heck she's managing it all, because I'm like,
totally.
And I wanted to talk about this too, but like the mom guilt.
Oh God, the mom guilt, girl, it never goes away.
It doesn't.
It's so tough. It's a battle, man.
Yeah, and
it does not go away.
But the mom guilt of working, and then the mom guilt of not working, and then like the stay-at-home
the mom
moms.
guilt of here, the mom guilt of there.
Yes.
It's literally fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. All the mom guilt.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what kind of mom you are, you have it.
You have it, 100%. You can't escape it.
Right.
It's like, it's after you. It's on your tail no matter where you go. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was just talking with Carly, but the piece of mom guilt that, and this goes to what Greg says, is he's like, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but the chatter never stops. You have to learn how to fly, and you have to learn how to rise above it. And
because it won't go away.
Right. And I was just like, that hit me hard, because I was like, I was hoping you were saying that goes away.
I'm sorry,
but it doesn't.
It doesn't go away.
And even no matter how old the kids are,
no,
it's not going to go away.
It's not gonna go away.
And whether you're working or whether you're at home, it doesn't go away. And so being able to realize, like, you just gotta get above it.
But if you know that they're glass balls and you always choose the glass balls first, it quiets. It doesn't go away, but it quiets. I find, for me. It's there, for sure.
They're the priority.
Yeah. Like, my twins, they've been sick back and forth. They're passing back and forth, all these things. Yesterday morning, I get up. I'm leaving yesterday afternoon. I get up. Boston has a rash all over her face, all over her body, all over her arms. I'm like, freak is this? I'm like, I got to take her in. I can't just leave and be like, hey, like, it's probably nothing. Oh, mom guilt. Ah! So we take her to the pediatrician. He was like, oh, it's the antibiotics she's on because they've been so sick. They're on antibiotics. It's nothing. Like, she's totally fine. Whew. But the idea that I'm going to leave, I'm going to fly, by the way, to a different country by myself to be like, girls weekend, yeah. And I'm going to leave my 1-year-old. It's the mom guilt. It's the mom guilt. But I did what I had to do to give myself peace of mind, which was I took her to the professional. He told me it was fine. And even if it wasn't fine, he was going to tell me what had to be done. That would give me peace of mind. Keeping my glass ball as my first priority. Quieting the guilt, at least a little bit.
Yeah. And I noticed the stories that I tell myself.
Oh, the stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah, like that's where I've been able to really turn the volume down.
Yeah.
Because
it's a big difference.
Yeah, and like if I'm engaging in the like, yeah, you suck as a mom.
Yeah.
Because you're working. Like, how dare you?
Just like literally lighting yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no wonder I don't sleep.
Right? Yes. But you're right. That does help turn it down too.
Yeah.
It's always the stories we tell ourselves. All of us. Yes. All the things, eh?
Yeah.
I just hope that, I'm demonstrating for my girls what it means to just be a wholehearted good person. That's my glass ball. I just want my actions, whatever they may be, to show them that, because who knows what path they'll take. They're young. I don't know. I just hope whatever path they take is to be wholehearted good people. When I hear from the school, it's so interesting to me. My oldest is only 5. She'll be 6. So there's not a lot of like true academic stuff going on yet, right? She's still little. But when we go to the school and they're like, yeah, she's doing really good in this area and she's adding and she's reading this and these words. I'm like, but how is she as a person? Like, is she being a good human? Because that's great that she can add. Like, I'm super excited about that. But like, is she respecting other kids? Is she sharing? Is she being kind? Is she holding the door? Is she using her manners? Like, is she being a good human?
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah, right? Yeah, sometimes it's almost more critical than the IQ side of it, right?
Yeah. What do they say? Do you ask when you
Yeah,
ask those questions?
I ask it every time, and generally I find pretty good feedback. But also, tell me what I can work on. I always say feedback's my best opportunity for improvement. Please, just tell me how it is. If I don't know, I can't do anything about it. I used to be scared of feedback. I never wanted to ask my clients for feedback. Whew. I was like, shit's chaotic. I already know that. I don't need help knowing that, right? And same with my staff. I was like, I don't even want to ask the question. But I learned that if I am vulnerable and I ask the question, I can use real answers to make change.
Because you're willing to look at the truth.
Have to be. I didn't used to be, though. I used to be like, I don't want to know. I'll just keep the grind going, But then I learned that if I ask the question and I'm open to the answer, I can make legitimate change. Something I learned through running these businesses is
actually really good.
Yeah. Something I learned that's so important with running these businesses is your staff, and what I more often than not call my team as opposed to my staff. My team is making them glass balls. More important than 90% of everything else going on in the business. More important than the revenue, more important than the customer, more important than, the maintenance of the building. You got to take care of your team.
So making the individual of the team a glass ball, not the task, not the objective that's bringing in the revenue.
Yeah, it's significant. It's honestly, it's so significant. We implemented something in January. You might have seen it. I think I shared it in one of the groups. It's brand new, so we haven't done any testing on it yet, but I'm hoping it's going to pan out the way I think it is. Anyone that has an 8-year tenure with us is eligible for a 1-month paid sabbatical. We have 4 people eligible this year, and they have to select one of the pillars of the infinity model. And during their month sabbatical, they need to follow a growth module that I've built out for each pillar. So if they choose personal, I've built out an 8 to 12 hour growth module for them to follow. It's only 8 to 12 hours out of a month. Like, it's not, most of the time is for them to spend on them, but I want them to grow. One of our 4 core values at our company is growth. That's not growth of me. That's growth of them. growth of our team. In turn, that'll be growth of our customer base. In turn, that'll be growth of our company. But it has to start with the people serving, and that's our team.
So question.
Yeah.
What, I'm just going to say,
Sure.
if you said how many people qualify?
This year we have 4.
So
4 people have an 8-year tenure or more.
out of those 4 people, say there's one that doesn't care to grow. They have no motivation.
Yeah.
They don't have a really inherent drive.
Yeah.
How do you navigate giving them I mean, the fact that you have something set up is really awesome. But
So
how would you navigate that?
it is a stipulation. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you don't get the month paid sabbatical. So that's just how it is. The paid sabbatical is with the intention of growing. So, and fair, not everyone necessarily wants or cares to learn and grow, but I will navigate it with you. I will, to a degree, handhold you through it, because a lot of people are uncomfortable, and that's why they shy away, right? Because they don't act vulnerable very often. They don't expose themselves. So forcing that can be really uncomfortable. I will help you through it every single step, no problem. I feel confident that we're going to get 4 people through it this year. One of them falls into the category that you described a little bit more than the others, much more than the others probably. But I feel pretty confident with a little bit of extra support, we're going to get her through it.
Is that going to require a ton of your time, or the way you've set it up?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. The way I've set up the growth modules will not require almost any of my time. Like a pre-meeting and a wrap-up meeting type thing. But with this one particular example, I don't know, because I don't know how much TLC they're going to need to get through it. I know that whatever they need, it's going to be me bringing them through it, because I have to learn. I can assign it to someone else, but I don't know what I'm facing. So until I learn that, I might be able to build other things into the program that innately support this type of individual better for future applications that will require less of my time. But until I do it once, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know that I'm 100% committed to working through it with this person.
Well, and the fact that you have 4 people, I mean, the tenure, I mean, that doesn't exist in a lot of places.
It's tough, yeah.
And so that
it's tough even for us.
Yeah.
Good people are hard to find. Good people are harder to keep, frankly. And that's why implementing some of these employee benefits and team benefits is also critical, because it does set you apart from other employers, right? We pay reasonable wages, we have health and dental benefits. But other than that, why do you want to work here versus somewhere else? Well, we have a kick-ass culture, and we've, worked hard and invested a lot into making that true. But we're trying to also be creative about these other benefits that we can implement, so that this isn't just about us. This is about us, the big us, right? Not just the little us.
The glass balls.
Yeah. So food for thought.
A lot of food for thought.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I feel like this, after that we pushed the mics, was got even better.
That's okay. It might produce some good clips and stuff for you guys too.
Yeah.
Thank you, girl.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the way that you've maneuvered things has been super inspiring for me.
Oh, such a
again,
pleasure.
I don't know much about you
Well,
outside of what I know.
This is a great chance.
I know.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you.